Alright, hello everyone. Here we are back for another Greenwich Point hole. Hole 5, par 5. And, very similarly to how we play a lot of these holes, it's going to be, very dependent upon wind specific. And just something that you're always going to need to be thinking about. This is actually going to make this a very, very challenging hole. This tee shot that you're going to have to kind of bend around these trees and keep out of the sand is going to be very, very challenging with this scenario. So let's see how this is done. See if you can keep it out of the sand. It looks like barely. So you can see that very, very tricky shot here to get this around the trees and get this into good position. And what I'll try to do is, a little bit of curl around the tree. I'll also go a little bit of an overplay. If I was going to put values to this, I'd probably do somewhere around here, right around 8 rings or so. I'm going to be going into power, about half power, give or take. Also bend it kind of around the corner a little bit. Maybe even just a little bit more. Oh. Didn't want that 2-ring great ball. So let's see if this ends up clipping these trees. Let's hope that it still rolls out into the fairway. We should still be okay. It just kind of changes the way that we need to do this. It would be ideal if you don't, clip those trees and roll it through into that fairway, because it does make, that's going to make it even worse. So we're going to have, some length issues. But, with that win that we just got, that kind of made my opponent's shot a little bit harder as well, because you'll usually, what I'd like to do is bend it around from the left and kind of go left to right with the ball, but it's a little bit harder to do in this situation. So one of the things that you got to be careful of is to not land on that rough. So what you'll see that I'll do, hopefully, would be to minimally curl this, as little as possible. And, try to avoid the trees. Try to avoid that rough as well. So maybe more towards the center here. And you can see that, for the most part, we're going to be able to go relatively full here with the way that we play it. Just making sure that, I need to point this away from the rough so I don't do that same mistake. So you can see that's what I'm doing here. And I'm just going to curl it around, hopefully with a relatively perfect ball. That's a good ball. That'll be okay. So let's see if I can... The good ball probably ended up costing me a little bit. I'm going to have to make a pitch now. But you can see that I can get down here, reasonable distance. Let's see how that looks. We should have a good angle coming straight back into the wind here. Give ourselves a very good chance, makeable shot here. So this pitch, shouldn't be, it was like a 2-ringer. Deflect it a little bit. So let's see what I have. What I'll usually do is, I can size this up. It should be a little bit downhill. I can use my end bringer for this if I'd like, 12.2. I'll probably try to get it right onto the green here. So that's almost a quarter club. And I'll usually try to roll it out from this point. So you can see kind of what we're looking at here. And as I mentioned, very close to quarter club, plus 10% about. It's going to be, in the neighborhood of 4 rings here. And you can see kind of what that does with my guy. Just kind of shoots it off just a little bit. Little great ball. Oh, it caught the fringe. I hope that doesn't make it miss. Looks like it did. So it did land just a little bit short. It might have been my, the way that I might have short hit that a little bit, but it could also have been caused by the great ball. A very laggy needle there. It seemed to have kind of jumped on me a little bit. But, I have no problem us going to the shootout here. So not a big deal. It would have been nice to, get this eagle in most scenarios. You're probably, going to need to. We had a scenario where we had two straight to headwinds. You can see kind of two different strategies, and both kind of didn't go the way that we planned. A little bit of poor execution. But here you can see, we're going to the shootout here, and I'll catch you guys on the shootout.